Today I'd like to introduce to you another Canvas LTI tool. This is an assignment LTI tool, and it's called FIFAs. FIFA stands for Formative Immediate Feedback Assessment. Basically, FIFAs are small assessments that have multiple questions that students can check and to see if they got them right and to basically just work through them. So this right here is the teacher viewpoint. You'll see there's directions that you can put in there. These are standard directions that just get added. You can change these if you want. And then below the directions are where you have put in the HTML for your directions. You have the ability to go ahead and put in your own HTML. This FIFA has 3 questions in it. Here's what the first question looks like, and then below that is the HTML for the question and what you could put in as possible answers. Question 2, question 3. At the bottom, you can delete each one of these questions. At the bottom, you can delete the entire quiz, or you could add in 2 new questions. You could add in short answer questions or multiple choice questions. These are the only question types that we have available in FIFAs. If you'd like to see what the student view looks like, I'll click on the student view version real quick here. And it's going to look something like this. So it has the directions up here. It has the first question. FIFAs obviously take images. I'll show you how we can put images in these. And there's a navigation panel over here. So if you want to click on question 2, you can see question 2. Click on question 3, you can see question 3, and so on. At the bottom is where you put in your answer. You can also see that it says on this one that to complete this FIFA, you must achieve a minimum score of 3 out of 3. So what this means is that the FIFAs are also tied to the module checklist. If you put this assignment in a module, and then you can go and edit the module on what they have to complete on the module, you can assign a certain minimum score that they need to get on a FIFA, and so this will take care of that as well. So you have to do all 3 problems if you want this one particular one to check off. So if I go to question 1, I can type in some answers for this. I'll do a 1 and a 4, and I can click the check automatically. It's going to check it, and it shows that I did not get it right. So it allows you to just keep on going and trying to figure out what the answers are on these particular things. So I'm going to put in 2.0. 2.0 and a 2.1, and I'm going to click check on that. It checks it, and I got this one right. So once you have it checked, you'll notice that I can't go and edit that anymore. I can still see the question, but I can't edit anymore to get the right answer. So I click on question 2, and if I click on question 1 and go back there, I'll still see the question and the image, but I won't be able to edit that anymore. So I click question 2, and I'll put in 1.0 and 0.89 and hit return or click the check, and it'll check it. I got it right. And I can always quit these quizzes at any time, and when I come back in, it'll still show me that I have 2 out of 3 right. It won't submit this at all until I get to the end, and I can submit the whole thing, or I can just finish the whole thing. So I can click 3, and I'll do 3.3 and 1.3. I'll click check on that, and I got it right. And what happens is it says you successfully completed this FIFA with a score of 3 out of 3, and it went ahead and submitted the whole thing for me automatically. You could always click finish if you want to finish early. Click the finish button. But if you do all of them, it's going to go ahead and submit the whole thing for you. And then what this does is it allows you to go ahead and take this again. You can take this as many times as you want. That's why they're very valuable to study for tests and things like this. They get them all done, every single question right. It'll always submit it after all the questions are completed correctly. Okay, so that's what the student view looks like, and we're going to try to go ahead and set up our own FIFA now and see how this works. So I'm going to leave the student view. I'm going to go to a different course. I'll go to my science 7th grade course, and I'm going to go into my modules. And in this first module, I'm going to add an assignment. So I'm going to click plus, and I'm going to click an assignment. And now normally when we're adding LTI tools, a lot of times we add them to modules, and you would do it right here, and you would say, I'm going to do an external tool. but that's not the case with this. This is an assignment LTI. So I'm actually going to click an assignment. I'm going to click create an assignment. I can do an assignment name, my FIFA or something like this. You can indent it if you want to. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to click add item. Okay, so here's a FIFA. I'm going to click on the assignment, and I'm going to edit this assignment. All right, so here's some important things for this, because you're not going to be in here very much. You're going to be editing it in the actual tool. So in the description here, the directions right here, you do nothing. You leave that completely blank. The FIFA tool is actually going to be using this to put in a kind of an ID number for each FIFA that you make. So you're not going to do anything in the description part here. In the points, you can put in how many points for how many questions you're going to actually add. If you end up putting in more questions later on, you'll have to come back in here and edit this to make sure that this points matches the amount of questions that you're going to put in the quiz. So I'm going to make a 3-question quiz. So I'm going to put 3 points. Everything else you can leave blank here. Now the important part here is submission type. So you click here, and this is where you're going to add an external tool. We're going to do an external tool, and I'm going to click find that external tool, and there it is right there. FIFA is what I'm going to use. So I click FIFA, I click select, and I do not want to load it in a new tab. I want it to be embedded in this program. So everything else I'm going to leave the same. So the 2 important things in here: the number of points should equal the number of questions you're going to eventually put in the FIFA, and then the submission type is an external tool, and you got to click the FIFA external tool. All right, so if I click save, and when I look at this, so here's what it's going to look like now. So it looks a lot different. If I want to get back in the edit assignment settings, I can click it right here. But this is where I'm actually going to edit my FIFA from now on. I'm going to do everything in here. And the only thing that's in here right now is the directions, and I have these automatic directions embedded in here, and you can change these if you want. So, or you could add more things in. So if I come in here and I click in here and I say, and I start typing, you'll see it turns red because it knows it needs to be saved. So I'm going to say, answer the questions correctly or something. You can put your own directions in here. You could delete this whole thing out and put your own directions in. That's totally fine. Whenever you have something red like this, you need to click the little save button, click to save, and now it's going to save it correctly, and you'll see up here is what it's going to look like, and you'll see that there's new things in here. So this takes HTML, as all do your questions, and some of you might not know much about HTML. That's fine. You can just type in your stuff if you want. But if you want to get a little tricky with some things, there's an HTML CSS reference guide here. If you click on this, it'll open up this HTML cheat sheet and shows you a whole bunch of really simple little HTML things you can do. We're not going to go over that too much right now. You can learn how to do that later. But some real simple ones, like if you want to underline the word correctly, I can put a U tag in front of it. It's an angle bracket with a U and another angle bracket. And then behind that, I can do a close U tab, which is an angle bracket with a slash, a U. And that is just a real quick way to underline something. If I change these U's to B's, it'll bold it. If I change them to I's, it'll italicize it. If I click to save, you'll see that now that word correctly is underlined. So there's some real basic HTML that you can use on some of these things. I'll be showing you a couple of things later. Okay, so we need to add some questions. So I'm going to add a short answer question. So I'm going to click right here on the short answer question. That adds one in. I can go ahead and, if I want to do 3 questions, I can go ahead and click and add them all in right now. So I'm going to do another short answer question, and then I'm going to add a multiple choice question. So now I have 3 questions all set up, ready to go. So this first one, short answer. What is 7 times 7? And then you want to put in your answers down here below. So I'm going to type in the answer 49. But if you have other answers, like maybe they're going to put in 49.0 accidentally or something or whatever. So there could be possible other answers that you want to count correct. So what you do is, and you can put spaces in here, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be case sensitive either. So you can put in capital letters or small letters. It's gonna accept all of those things. But if you want multiple possible answers that they can choose from, you need to separate them all with what's called the pipe symbol, which is just a straight up line. It's going to be like the shift, and it's like a slash symbol. It's over on the right side of your keyboard. And if I put in the pipe symbol like this is how I separate possible answers. So maybe they put in 49.0. So then I could put in another pipe, and maybe they put in 4.9 E1, like scientific notation. There's different things you can do. So any answers you want to accept as correct, you need to separate them with pipe symbols. That'll be important. So I'm going to click to save. And now you'll see that there's a question right there. What is 7 times 7? And there's your HTML for it. And then there's all the possible answers they could possibly put in. Let's do another one. This is another short answer. So I could say, name one of the first 3 presidents. Let's make it easier so we don't have to put in a whole bunch of possibilities in the short answer. Let's say last name only. We could do Washington. We could do a pipe symbol, John Adams. A pipe symbol, Jefferson. And you could, if you didn't want to put last name only, you could have done another pipe symbol, and you could say George Washington. Another pipe symbol, John Adams. Another pipe symbol, Thomas Jefferson. Okay, and so those are all possibilities that would answer this question correctly. So if they put just Adams, that'll work. They put just John Adams, that'll work. If they try to type in John Adams and they misspell John Adams, then that will not work. So you'd have to maybe come up with other spellings if you want it to be a little bit more lenient or something like this. That this is fairly strict. It's going to take any answer in between the pipe symbols as a correct answer. It is not going to worry about capitalization, and it's not going to worry about blank spaces. So any of those things you do not have to worry about. But if it's going to be misspelled or something like that, then yes, you'll have to worry about that. So I'm going to click to save, and I have that. Okay. Multiple choice. I'm going to say name the following molecule. Okay. A piece of code that I'm going to use right here is an angle bracket with the BR, angle bracket, and all that means is break. So that's going to break it down to the next line. And then I'm going to put in the name of an image. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So I'm going to do my multiple choice, separate answers with symbol. First answer is the correct one. You'll see it says right there. So this is going to actually mix up the multiple choice things on the answer side. So on the student view, it's going to have all 4 of your answers, but it's going to mix them up. Okay, so just because you're putting in the correct answer for the first one here does not mean that's going to be the first answer is always going to be your correct one. That's not going to be the way it's going to work. So I'm going to put in, this molecule is going to be called ethane. I'm going to put ethane. I'm going to do a pipe symbol, methane. I'm going to do a pipe symbol, propane. Pipe symbol, butane. Pipe symbol. You can put as many answers as you want. Normally you do 4, but I'm going to do more of them. I'll do heptane. Pipe symbol, decane. But the first answer I put it was ethane. Whoops, I didn't spell that right. Ethane. And that is going to be the correct answer that I want them to eventually choose. Okay. So I'm going to click to save here. Okay. And so it's named the following molecule and it doesn't have anything. So that's going to look bad. So I want a molecule in here. How do we do images? Okay. So if you hover over image, it'll show you that you upload any images you want to your course files, and then you enter the file name in curly brackets in your HTML. Okay, so you enter the file name in your curly brackets in HTML. All right, so what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to leave this page here for a second. I'm going to go to files. This is your course files, not your individual files. It's your course files, files in this course. So I click on files. takes me to this files page. And what I would suggest to do is create a new folder, do plus folder and call it FIFA. So in your Science 7th Herman, I have this folder called FIFA. I'm going to click on that. And there's no files in here. So anything that you do with FIFAs, I would put all those files in here. I'm going to take an image, which I have here. I'm going to drag it in here and drop it in there. And you'll see it's called 1_ethane. So make sure you kind of come up with some numbering scheme for all of your images that you want to put in your FIFAs. So you'll need to make sure you remember what that's called, 1_ethane.jpg, because when I go to my FIFA, I'm going to have to type that in exactly that way. It's going to scan your files and it's going to find your folder for you. So I'm going to go back to modules on my FIFA and bring it up. And you'll see your 3 questions are all still in there. So everything's fine. And so right here is where I'm going to put in the name of my image that I want to display here. And you'll remember that it's supposed to be in curly brackets. So I'm just going to put the curly brackets here. And inside those curly brackets, I'm going to type in the name of the image. So it was 1_ethane.jpg was the name of the file. So I'm going to click to save. And you'll see there it is. Now maybe I want name the following molecule, and I want this thing to be centered out here in the middle, which would be kind of cool. So another shortcut, I can put a center tag in front of it. So it's an angle bracket, center, and then close angle bracket. And then I can close the center tag after that. So after this curly bracket, I'll put /center within angle brackets. And that's a center tag. So anything in between these 2 center tags will actually be centered as well. So if I click to save here, you'll notice that it's over here, it's centered now. Okay, so there's my 3 questions. I think everything looks good. If I want to add more questions, I could do that. But if I do that, I have to edit the assignment settings and make sure that I put in a 4 or a 5 or however many points there are for every single question you have in here. I could click here and delete the entire quiz if I want to. If you do that, it's going to give you a big red box saying, are you sure you want to do this? So you can always cancel out of that. Okay. In the modules, I never published it. Okay, so right here, you got to publish that. FIFA. Okay. In case you don't know how to do this, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. In this thing right here, I'm going to edit this module. I can come down here and I can add a requirement, and I could put in my FIFA that I just added in here, my FIFA, and I can say score at least 2 out of 3. So notice it has 3 points. I can say score at least 2 out of 3. I can update the module. And so now when I go into this FIFA, and I want to be student view, so it'll say here, to complete this FIFA, you must achieve a minimum score of 2 out of 3. Okay, so we'll see what that does. Okay, so what is 7 times 7? I'm going to put 20, and I'm going to check, and it's wrong. And so I'm going to put 49. Well, maybe I'll put 49.0 because I think I said that was okay. So yes, it's okay, so I got that right. Okay, so I go to number 2, name one of the first 3 presidents. I'm going to do Lincoln. Check, and that's not right. It does say, remember I'd said last name only, but remember I did make it so that it would accept if you did the whole thing. So George Washington. I'm going to click check. Okay, and I got it right. So now you'll notice that his little trophy came up and it says you have achieved the necessary score on this FIFA of 2 out of 3. So technically, if I clicked finish right now, I could be done. So I'll click finish. It says, are you sure you want to submit your score? And I could click confirm and do it. I guess I won't. I'll cancel right now, and I'll do the 3rd problem. So what's the 3rd problem say? Okay, name the following molecule. And there's all these options, and I can choose whichever one I want. If you remember which one is correct, I'll go ahead and click methane, and I'll click check. Okay, and it wasn't right. Okay, it shuffled them all up again. Okay, so in FIFAs, generally I use FIFAs for short answers, because if you use them for multiple choice, obviously you know that's not right. So now you can check another one and keep checking them and stuff. But if you just want a, a quick assessment check that they're using, then that's totally fine. So I'm going to click ethane. I'm going to click check, and we got it right. It says you successfully completed this FIFA with a score of 3 out of 3. It automatically submitted the entire thing for me and allows me to go ahead and try it again. So that's called the FIFA LTI tool. Hopefully you can see the advantage of using this tool in your courses.